Let's start with Darth Vader. Number 13 drops, and
Yes.
it is really exceptional. You and I were talking right before the show about how issue number 11 kind of put a sour taste in my. It was the first time that I felt like Charles Soule and Giuseppe just didn't hit it on all cylinders. 12 was a fantastic rebound. My goodness.
Yeah.
Did 13 really deliver? Basically, you have Vader on assignment from Palpatine to hunt down a potential Jedi involved with negotiations happening between the Empire and Mon Cola, the home planet of the Mon Calamari. And then you also have this like secondary story where you have Tarkin that's involved with those negotiations. And it's interesting to see that Tarkin's already kind of like in orbit of Mon Cala while they have this Imperial representative down planet side, and he thinks like he's in full control. And then like Vader just randomly shows up, and I bring this up not to spoil anything, but I bring this up because it's interesting because my understanding was that Tarkin, out of anybody in the Imperial Navy, would be privy to any action. That would directly impact his ability to do his mission. So, like, I feel like if Vader was going to be sent to Mon Cala as well, the Emperor would notify him. Because I really do feel like, even though the Emperor did view himself above everyone, I feel at times like he had more respect for Tarkin as a military strategist than Darth Vader, who's supposed to be, the might and fury, so to say, of the Emperor. So, I thought that was really interesting. Jesse, how did you like the way that Vader was approached? I feel like you had to really enjoy that opening, that kind of like meditation of Vader in his whatever you call that force shell that he likes to meditate in.
Yeah, it's like a force meditation chamber.
Yeah, the chamber. You see it in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you see it in Empire. It allows Vader to basically take his helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rumors and a little bit out there. That's a whole different podcast, but
or different episode. But
yeah.
Tell me, what do you think about the meditation, like that insight into that?
Kind of interesting to see what Vader's thinking about. I mean, he's kind of, sorry, spoilers, but he's really dwelling on his fight with Obi-Wan. And I think I'll leave it at that because it's a little bit different than how we saw it.
I think we can go as far as saying I think what's going on is he's reflecting on that battle on Mustafar, but now he's seeing it with like a revenge.
Yeah,
and so it's modified. It's modified.
Yeah, and altered.
But I like the fact that Charles Soule keeps taking us inside the mind of Vader, which is really nice because it's a humanizing element of Vader, and you continue to understand that this is still a man that is suffering, that is dealing with regret and some remorse, and still doesn't feel 100% confident in the path that he's chosen.
Yeah.
And then he's also realizing he's gone too far. And I really enjoyed this. There were a few moments in the comic that I kind of like had a double take at the art. Very rarely am I finding myself double taking at Giuseppe Camuncoli's art, but there were like a couple trooper helmets that I thought were kind of sloppy. They didn't look right. I didn't know if they were. I was like, is that intentionally? Is that supposed to be a cross breed of a trooper? Is it a hybrid, or is that just kind of sloppy?
The angle or lighting or shadow or something.
But no, I thought it was really cool, and basically there's like this negotiations happening with Mon Cala, and there's some question about whether they should succeed or not. And Lee Char, who from the Clone Wars animated series, he's like kind of like the ruler of Mon Cala right now. You get appearances from Akbar in this issue.
Yeah, a younger Akbar.
You get Radis.
Yeah,
Admiral Radis of the Rebel Alliance.
Stephen Stanton.
So yeah, Stephen Stanton obviously does that way better than I do, but I'm a fan. I'm an admirer. It was really cool to see those familiar faces, especially since in Star Wars 44 and 45, we see Leia several years later. I mean, post A New Hope, on Mon Cala as well right now, and they're negotiating with Calamari there. So kind of interesting to see how the two different series, even though they're happening like decades apart, there's events are kind of correlating. So that's kind of cool. Anything that we haven't touched on this Darth Vader comic that we want to hit on?
The only thing seemed a little bit odd because we see a younger Tarkin in the Clone Wars animated series, and he's still he's a jerk. He's this kind of pompous military know-it-all kind of thing.
He's always been that way.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't get that vibe from him in this comic. He seemed very proper, very not thoughtful as in like Carrie, but like
Yeah.
because they're in the middle of negotiations and everything is kind of actually going smoothly. It's a peaceful negotiation kind of thing, and then like as you put it, Vader shows up, and we get a whole different thing going on, and we kind of see where the story. You start seeing that familiar, plot twist in there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of this comic, we're kind of teased with
There's a Jedi.
potentially a Jedi.
We don't know who, but there's a Jedi in a cloak.
I tried to look it up. I tried to see if who was maybe stationed there during the Clone Wars. I didn't get anywhere.
A lot of internet buzz right now wants it to be Voss.
Really?
They want that to happen really bad because it's a Jedi that really. Quinlan Voss was a background character in The Phantom Menace, and then they ended up making him a character in the Clone Wars, and then he became a fan favorite. There's a canon novel with him and Ventress running around. It would be interesting. I just don't know who else. That would be. Obviously, a couple issues back, we did have a list of surviving Jedi, I believe, or we had Force-sensitive beings, but then. Many issues prior, we did have a list of known Jedi to be alive because that list included Ahsoka. So I had to get that straight. I didn't want to be misinformative. So I guess you can speculate a lot about who that Jedi could be, but we're probably going to find out in the next issue. Which, by the way, the cover for issue 14, I should say, is incredible. Vader coming out of the water with the red in his eyes. Looks sick.
Now, this current issue, though, that we're talking about,
right.
There was a slight little mishap, though. A little typo.
Oh, yeah, there's like some questions about, I don't think it's a big deal. There's some concerns or questions about if this comic is really 3 years, if it's really 3 years later, because like in the forward, they kind of do like an opening crawl, and they're like 3 years later, and then Palpatine refers to it's been 3 years since I've taken over. So I guess I'm probably just going to have to reach out to Matt Martin on Twitter and see if he answers me, because I was pretty sure I read a tweet where he was like, yeah, that timeline isn't right.
Yeah, apparently there's a little bit of debate concerning the timetable for this issue.
Yeah, like I just
and
said,
the actual
like,
canon.
In the canon, it says maybe 3. It's Matt Martin said it's not. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's a comic. Read the damn comic. But
still a great comic.
Trying to have a follow up for you next week. Another great comic that I want you to know about. Thrawn #2 came out. Big fan of Thrawn #1. Did you read?
No, because
you're waiting for the novel.
Yeah, I'm holding off until I've gotten through the novel. So
I won't. Okay, so I will be.
I'm going to pull a David
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Yeah, I'm going. I want you to go out and I want you to buy this comic. What's so great about the Thrawn comic is the fact that it's not your 21, 22 pages. You're getting double the comic. You're getting incredible art. You're getting such a great, a well-written story adaptation from the novel. You are getting such a great understanding of Timothy Zahn's appreciation and love for this character of Thrawn and Vanto and all these characters that kind of surround it. It's just really well executed. Darth Vader, Charles Soule, still my favorite Star Wars comic to date. But this Thrawn miniseries is something that you need to be a part of if you are not already. There is a great cover that has already come out for #3 where it's Governor Pryce and Thrawn looking at each other. And, of course, if you watch Star Wars Rebels, you know that there's a relationship there between Governor Pryce and Thrawn.
Some sort of relationship. Of course, if you watch Rebels, you know that it doesn't really end well for the two, but...
Well, no, but there's, there's a relationship.
Yeah,
there's
there's something there.
So definitely check that out. And then just a heads up, because I want to make sure that you know what's going on the rest of the month. We also got Poe Dameron 25. I put out a poll a while ago on Twitter. By the way, if you're not following us on Twitter, you totally should, because I'll do polls like once in a while, like what are the comics that you're reading? We had like 200 people vote in this last comic book one, and like less than like 10% were reading Poe Dameron. So we don't touch on it a lot. If you do want us to talk about Poe Dameron more often, let us know. It's really the only content we're getting right now that's in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. So I guess I should be more interested in diving into that. Me personally, just because we all know that I have my issues with the sequel trilogy. I don't get into it that much. But I think if you're really interested in the development of the Resistance and the First Order and its activity with Phasma, you will get your thirst quenched.
Help me, Filoni.
Do you want to say something?
Yes.
Oh.
Dave Filoni's our only hope. I
You were
feel like to
whispering over there. Okay, so what else is coming out? I guess Dr. Aphra is really the last thing to drop. No, whoa. I misspoke. I couldn't have read Poe Dameron 25 because it comes out next week with Star Wars 45.
Well, unless you got up to 88 miles per hour, David.
Oh, yeah, Jump to the Future.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And then Dr. Aphra closes us out on March 28th. So that's your comic fix for the week.
If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. You can watch other videos just like this one right now by checking out these videos on your screen. And by the way, thanks for checking out Beyond the Blast Doors.